I mean,
they
played it against Japan in the qualifiers for Asia, so it's not like it's a hidden pick for them. They've already displayed it in terms of qualifying for the Overwatch World Cup itself, so I think we can fully expect it to see it either on map 1 or 2.
All right, well, looks like our teams are ready, so without further ado, let's get into the match.
Thank you very much, Seltzer and the desk. Yes, we've got China and Thailand squaring up here on the stage, Lee. And one of the biggest surprises for us of the entirety of this week seeing the teams play is how good these Southeast Asian teams have been looking.
Yeah, absolutely. They have all been rocking it well. China coming into this one, everybody was giving them a big favourite tag. Obviously, you had Korea, China, Finland and Sweden. They were the big four.
Right.
But as the scrims have developed, suddenly everyone's saying, hang on a minute, these teams all from Asia are starting to look good. We heard Monty talking about it. The Thailand team are all 6 members from the same team. They are coming into this one well-drilled, well-oiled, all in the right position. There's no meshing problems coming in together. They are all used to each other. They're sponsored. They are winning tournaments in Thailand. So this is a big challenge. And it's something that actually, you know, obviously France, we were close to coming into this event because we worked with some of the guys. They were coming into this so confident, and then they saw Thailand in scrims, and suddenly it's like, hang on, this is not going to be easy. Thailand can put a big challenge on China.
And just on that note as well, that also, I believe, provoked a bit of a role change in the side of France. But anyway, let's get on to this one. Lee, we didn't even talk about it. It's going to be King's Row between these two teams. A commonly chosen map in China, probably one of the most common here. In this team as well, I do want to point out, Meng Mao and Peng Ge have come in as subs for the players that weren't able to get here due to visas. Both incredibly good. They're from Snake Esports. Peng Ge, in my opinion, is one of the best tanks in China. His name actually translates to Fat Bro, so I mean, I guess if you're a tank, the mindset kind of does apply quite well. His charges are very good. He plays the mind games that I talked about on the desk earlier on quite well. And then Meng Mao, a jack of all trades. Meng Mao now actually means cute kitty. The name he normally goes by is Hua Mao, which is more like a spotted or calico kitty, but we're going to call him cute kitty now. It's very ironic because he's playing Reaper, but again, keep an eye on those two. They bring a lot of experience and cohesion to this team.
I'm just seeing KOKFC. The Mao is spinning that shield. His sensitivity must be so high on that Reinhardt to be able to do that. But here we go. It's going to be the Hanzo little shot to get a bit of vision to start things off. Is he going to stick with it? We'll see whether he decides to switch that out. I suspect he will. And he's going to get himself over to the Hog. So this is going to be a triple tank setup on the push. Actually make that 4 because there's a D.Va in there.
They baited that Mei wall out so well. The fact that only D.Va went across, she can fly back over. Now no walls available, and this is where Thailand can start the fight.
Well, they're going to try and catch something different out. It's going to work out for them. No, because the Reinhardt gets taken down. Meng Mao comes straight in, takes down Puto on the Reinhardt, and instantly China will come out strong in that initial defense. Now, obviously, this being King's Row, you may or may not have seen this map before. If you're new to Overwatch, King's Row is a very difficult payload map to cover off. It's known as a hybrid because you have to cap out that initial first point, and it is a long spawn runtime from your base on the defending side. So it is really tricky. If you lose one guy, that's when you're in trouble.
I mean, this quad tank lineup for Thailand is super interesting. The fact that they're sort of using the Roadhog, they don't even have a DPS player on their team, of course, which is often the case here. So it means Obito really needs to get these hooks in. He is the DPS player. He is the captain of this team. We're looking at him to make things work. But Thailand, look at them. They can keep coming forward. They're not taking enough damage to really make them, you know, honest. But there's Meng Mao coming with 3 quick kills. That's how you break tank stacking comps. Just put the Reaper in there, make sure he's got the protection, and they shut it down.
That's it. Obviously, you got the big shotguns coming out of the Reaper, and it will do a heck of a lot of damage to those big, fat targets which are on the screen. So, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Thailand, they've had 2 attacks. It's not worked. Here we're going to see Jamli with the wall. Splits them beautifully. Separates them down. 2 people came through there. Now, can they work them down? Graviton Surge is ready to go, but it's going to get pulled in instead. It's going to be a Graviton Surge on Graviton Surge. Some very close-knit action there. The Earthshatter didn't really catch anything there. And this is actually suddenly working out well for Thailand. YJP managed to take down Kurdos, though, so the Anna's not there to keep the healing up, which means it could be a problem for the rest of Thailand.
Thailand have most of this point captured, though. They just need to win this next little fight, and the sound barrier coming down is going to help them in that regard. There's KOKFC getting the big KO on Naiba, and the charge comes in through the hotel. Peng Ge is prevented from even standing on and stalling the point out because KOKFC is coming out from nowhere with the charge himself.
So, good time. Wasn't the greatest initially. It took them 3 attacks to break through the deadlock that China had up, but Thailand managed to break it down. And we're going to see any switches here. Is Jamli going to stick to Mei? I'm not too sure. It is a fairly decent run. They're going to be stacked up just around the corner, so they're going to reach this library store just on the side here, or bookstore, whichever you prefer to call it. There's the inn on the corner, and this is generally where they're going to get caught out at the moment. It looks like they're going to go aggressive, Thailand.
This D.Va is still so interesting to see Mickey on the D.Va as well. Arguably one of the most mechanically skilled players on this team, but it just blows my mind to see it here. We'll see if it works out. Hopefully the desk can talk to us about it a little bit later on. You can see that Mickey tried to get into the back line on towards Meng Mao. That failed. He got desuited. And only Pungay falling there on the side of China from NZNR now as well, which means Thailand will be sort of corralled off here. Wall comes up behind them. Graviton Surge in response to a chance here, but it's the mutual Graviton being brought out. KOKFC, a lot of options of where to hold the shield, and eventually he's frozen solid.
Yeah, I got a question, honestly, at the beginning of the fight. You see Kurlos go down to a Xayah. How is that happening as the first kill? Is Kurlos' positioning, is he going too deep there, or is maybe YJPP going too deep? I don't know.
YJPP is not known for aggressive positioning, actually. He's just known for very good tracking, and actually he's very safe, honestly. It's kind of one of the strongest parts of IG Fire in that regard, is that he can sort of keep himself out of trouble in that way. So I don't really know here. I mean, you know, NZNR, of course, coming forward as well. He and the Xayah, the only guy to get a kill on the Reinhardt. Self-destruct goes up, catches no one, falls a little bit short of the ground now. Most of the fight's occurring off-screen as NZNR is in a bit of a duel, but here come the mutual sound barriers out, and KOKFC gets a nano boost.
Yeah, Pangay catching them all out. This is not going well for Thailand. They're going to get dropped once again. YJP comes through, gets himself a quick triple, and that is all she wrote. 2 minutes 30 on the clock for Thailand. They need to maybe start looking at some adjustments here and there. Is going to be an adjustment. Mickey going over to Xayah.
YJP doing so much damage on the Xayah right now for China. He's doing the top damage, 7.4k to be exact, and you can see how much important it is to keep that good energy. He's got 60% average energy on Xayah, so he is always going to be hitting like a Mack truck regardless. And we'll see now, as Thailand need to go pretty soon. They've got 2 minutes left. NZNR forced already into the ice block, and no, it's going to be the Graviton Surge catching Thailand all together. And the Blizzard combo, there is no one going to be standing around after the smoke clears here.
That is just a multi-layer faceted attack that just works so far. And look how aggressive China are now. They're keeping them in the archway. There's only 3 exits here. There's the archway, there's a window above, and there's an exit just to the left-hand side. And Thailand are just being pinned in their spawn point. You can see the payload slowly but surely backing up, and Thailand are running out of time. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. They need to do something, and they need to do it fast.
So NZNR on that May as well. Let's see what he can do now. Last time he kind of was forced into ice blocking very early in the fight and then got caught on a Graviton here. You can see that Meng Mao was waiting for someone to drop down. China have at the ready the combo, of course, with Reaper going in with the Death Blossom, but no, he's going to get frozen early, gets taken down. Earthshatter comes in over the top as well. Pungay gets on towards Kurlos here, but you can see now that Mickey and co are pushing back on China. They overextend a little bit too far, and the Blizzard catches them out. Now they're going to have to back away as much as they can, but still YJP is going to struggle to stand up against the heat Thailand are bringing here.
It's the boosted Xayah who we've seen quite a few times throughout today, but it didn't work out this time, and finally Thailand do break that deadlock. Now, looking across the ulti board, you can see, of course, Putu sat there with the whole hog. Kurlos has himself the more all-important nano boost. And I'm just going to look to see who he can actually boost up. It's probably, actually, it may even be the Reinhardt. They're probably just going to send the Reinhardt in. He doesn't really need anything ready waited to go. Mickey off the side there is going to get walled away from the rest of his team, and that's going to cause them a real problem. They're separated, and China just surround them.
Yeah, Officer now got to be careful. There's not much you can do, actually, when you're nano boosted as that Roadhog there. It doesn't give you much more damage over time, really. Meng Mao gets himself 3 kills in the fight. China can lean upon the strategy of using Meng Mao on the backline quite comfortably here. Thailand, for some reason, won't go away from the triple tank setup here, and that's fine. But this Roadhog, maybe not really having the desired impact here. And Meng Mao, look, when you get Jam Lee throwing down Blizzards like that, it is Reaper's Winter Wonderland. It is so easy for Meng Mao to get those kills. And now, time's going to be up for Thailand. One more chance, but the storm may not even be forthcoming. No, it's not going to be enough. And China with the hold outside the Foundry. Thailand pulling up a little bit too short.
Yeah, the separation of that ice wall. I think was it Jam Lee that was on the
yes, he was on the
on the May. The separation just catching the two people out, and the time you're that far away. The spawn is all the way back through the arches. You're back at the statue. You've got to run all that way to get separated from your team, living in a 4-on-6 situation. Basically, there was no chance for Thailand there. So kind of their own aggression, their over pushing, kind of caught them out there. So China, now what can they do? Of course, it is not over yet. Thailand set themselves a marker. It is just outside the second phase. And China, well, they're going to be feeling pretty confident, I feel there. You can see that on their faces. They have a clear face of concentration, but there were some big smiles at the end of that game.
That's right. I think, like, China, a lot of these players being from Invictus Gaming, actually, and one team, in my opinion, along with probably Vici that, in my opinion, really got a good understanding of the Western meta fairly early on. And a lot of Chinese teams are characterized actually by a reluctance to sort of play the same style that we're seeing out of Korea and out of North America and Europe. They like to focus a bit more on pocket picks and comfort picks. But, I mean, IG especially really used Mei a lot. They got a player called Roy back home, back in China, who is very, very well known for his Mei play. So it'd be interesting to see now what China want to come out on the attacking side with. YJP does occasionally go for the Pharaoh. We've seen it from him before. Didn't work very well in Shanghai, but I mean, if Thailand if Thailand going to play this stacking tank comp with very little medium to long range damage, then yes, you can rule the skies as Pharaoh.
Well, looking at Thailand as well in the defense, obviously we talked about the Symmetra. We expected this might come out. We've got the Junkrat in there. We've got a very different comp coming out from what we saw in China here. We did have some change there. Looks like the Anna's going to come through as well. So, well, I mean, like you say, for YJP, he's just got to be careful because there's going to be the hook. There's the McCree in there, and well, Zalfek's just going to pretty much say, "Hi, I'm here. I want as much ulti charge as I can get." Just going to throw those big orbs out straight away.
So let's talk about, obviously, lacking a Symmetra means you don't actually have a Lucio on your side of the map to respond to the opponent's movements as much. There you go, YJP gets hooked in. That's one thing you've got to be careful of. But no Lucio means you can't engage or disengage and catch the enemy team by surprise or off guard so much. China are going to pretty much, or Thailand, sorry, if they do sort of want to disengage, they're going to hope that NZNR gets a decent, knockback off the concussive mine and hope that they can really work from there. But that's really it. So if Thailand get caught in a fight, they can't really go back. They need to keep going forward.
Well, there's going to be a Riptide, a very early one. He's going to try and hook it around the side. He should be able to catch out the Reaper as soon as he comes out of Wraith form.
Oh, Jelly got it first!
Got away from it. I don't know how. That must have been like a split-second time in there, but the rest of his team have been pecked away. YJP, though, comes around the side. It's just a simple frag. It's not going to be anything else because the rest of his team are not there. He's not going to be able to push in, but still, hesitant start from China. They keep getting caught out, just losing that one man on the initial attack.
The longer they take, the more chances Alphix is going to get a good teleporter up and allow Thailand to easily reinforce in these fights. YJP, old school style. Pharaoh goes into the back line and just throws rockets into the corner hoping to splash and catch someone out here. He's in a decent position, but needs a little bit of healing from the Anna, and you can see that Naiva is supplying that. And now, the splash damage inside the Altworth Hotel. YJP going to get a lot of damage from this position, and the barrage is available.
They're being kept away from the point. They've already got the first marker. Comes around the back, catches him off guard.
Oh, God.
There's the barrage. Gets himself a quick triple, and that is absolutely going to be the payload captured. No doubt about that one. That's exactly what they needed. They were trying to quiver, trying to hide in the hotel. They backed away into the arches. Perfect trap set by China.
And straight away, Thailand responding to this. Keeping the Symmetra after the first point. This is so weird. Normally teams on hybrid maps like this one keep the Symmetra just for the first point and then get rid of it straight away. But Zalfix, for whatever reason, seems to think that teleporter here could really help them out. I see this very, very rarely. We've also seen Opito switch away from the McCree and go for the Roadhog here. So Thailand actually now have less tools to deal with a Pharaoh than they did in the first place.
Absolutely. So, okay, so he's got his teleport. Let's. What is he doing with it? Okay, he's going to stick it back here. I mean, it is a long spawn, don't get me wrong. It's a long run, but that's not exactly shaving much time off where he's just placed it, but it's going to give them a little bit of time. But here you can see Jamley getting caught out, so he's not able to get his Reaper Copter off. He does get it in the end, but it doesn't to zero effect. I think he got Earth Shattered down by the looks of it, but Mickey gets himself a couple of kills, so Thailand look like to be holding strong here. They're going to keep them at bay in the streets. That's going to be Koga and KFC going way too deep, getting caught out, and that's going to push on through, and now Thailand are in trouble. The golden marker is right there on your screen. That's all they need to hit, and they will take map one.
Teleporter's down here, but Thailand still need to spawn back in. You can see how desperately KFC is trying to get back to this fight. The problem is now Thailand are bleeding in one after another. It's not exactly a full team of 6 that are placing themselves there. Fortunately, they've been able to chip away at China as their waves have kept coming in now. Dealing with YJP will then sort of leave them free just to now face this next push. Blizzard comes in, you can see where that's been placed. That just means that Thailand have a bit of time to set up here, and anyone from China who gets too far ahead of themselves will be taken down.
A little bit of safety as well, a little safety net to clear off that payload. Everybody coming back through that spawn points to get themselves in. So far the teleport has helped them out, and bear in mind they've got, what, 3 more minutes to hold this point. It is one team fight lost. It is over for them. Even with that spawn point there, I don't think they're going to be able to rush on through the teleport. There's going to be Meng Mao trying to push on through. He's got his Graviton on Surge ready and waiting. You can see he's looking for the moment. Fires it out there, catches him, but he's got a little far ahead of the rest of his team. It's going to be backed up by the barrage, but they can see the Biotic Grenade saves a lot of their life there. YJP only picks himself up one, but Pangay's back in around the side.
That's it. Big Bro's going to come in from the top of the monkey, and now it's going to be Jam Lee gets himself the nano boost here, but who's he going for? There's actually not many people left on the side of Thailand here, but China just trying to make it finished. Pangay with 4 kills now there as well as Alphix. There's nothing you can do against a Winston who's getting up in your face. You don't have to aim as Symmetra, but still, you don't do enough damage. But China, they've definitely done the deed. They're going to get this first map there by overcoming Thailand's time and distance and pushing to the Foundry lead. Interesting stuff to kick things off, and that's Symmetra. Zalfix stuck to that one like glue. I'm not sure how I feel about that one over